do is we might go on to the VVox poll. This is really short. So this is going to be we're going to ask you 2 questions, okay? And I suppose the first one is a little bit like what we asked you to do in the apologies. Sorry. We're going to ask you 2 questions. The first one is very similar to the question that you were asked in terms of the whiteboard. But the second one really is, if we know there is something that needs to change, how can we make that change happen? And that can inform then, I suppose, what initiatives can be put in place by all of us, either in our own organisations or collectively. So I might hand over to Kathleen for this bit then.
Okay, thanks, Idel. Hopefully you should be able to get that up with your cameras, can you? Everybody okay? It's just you can also put in an ID number that's there if needs be. But if anybody's in issues, just give us a shout. We'll say it to Mohammed there. Okay, is everybody on it? Plugged in, yeah? Okay. So, as Idel said, just 2 questions, and I suppose this is a follow-on just from, I suppose, you know, what's been threaded through the day and what you've seen on the whiteboard. So this is a follow-on question in relation to this. And it's going to display in a word cloud, so it's anonymous. So as you're typing in, you'll see it appearing on the screens here behind us. So what is your key take-home message from today's conference? And I suppose just to say, you can just put in 20 characters, you know, at once, but you can do that several times if you have different words or thoughts or whatever from the day that you can put in. Access today. Oh yes. Hold it a few seconds. It's on now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can see it very strongly in terms of education and collaboration, even as the participation grows in the VVox poll. Even within the subgroups there's actually a lot about working together. You know. Okay, Mahal. Thanks, Mahal. So you can see that moving and changing, but yet essentially staying quite consistent in terms of education, working together, collaboration. I mean, isn't that a wonderful way to be able to come to the end of our day when we're really quite unified on the work that needs to happen moving forward, of which we saw a huge amount this morning of the progress that has been made, but it certainly does shine a light on future developments.
I suppose,
is there anything else there,
yeah.
Kathleen?
No, I should have said that the more people that puts in a particular word, it becomes more prominent on the screen. I should have said that. So obviously you can see that, you know, so many people have put in the education and collaboration. It's almost jumping off the screen.
Yeah, and there's a good to-do list for us there. I noticed, Kathleen. Is
that our homework now for the next year?
That's our hope. This time next year.
Whose idea was to ask this question?
I say nothing. So I suppose like our plan is to have a community practice this time next year, I'm assuming, project team, yeah?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there will be other
There will be, and
community
there'll be other
practices in
events.
between, but there'll be another
Yeah.
conference.
So this kind of feedback is giving us ideas around where there is, you know, a clear need. So the word children is coming up there quite significantly, as I can see. And can I just maybe, there's a comment in there about more men. Is that more men in the audience? More, I'm just wondering what people are thinking there. Is that more participation by men at the event, or what is meant by that? Maybe our speakers were all women. That's possibly.
Yeah, well, I suppose there was meant to be
Yeah.
a male from the Garda Síochána. He just couldn't make it at the last minute. Something, he had other commitments came up at the last minute. So yeah, there wasn't a gender balance on the panel because of that then.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Somebody artistic with the red flags. I like that one.
so do you want to go to the second question, Kathleen?
Okay, so I'm going to
So I suppose we're
close this.
taken from that education and collaboration, which is, so I suppose it's now how, with collaboration in the back of our mind and possibly education, can we affect change? How can we make a change happen for the sector in this space?
Okay, so the second question there, what tangible actions can you or your organisation commit to in order to keep the spotlight on coercive control? So this, I suppose, is just putting it back on all of us. So like we heard and learned so much today, but I suppose at the end of the day, what are we going to do about it? What can we in our own way or in our own organisation, or what are we going to do when we leave here today in terms of, you know, taking home messages or sharing it with colleagues or family, etc. So it's kind of, what are we going to do about it? And what can we do in our own little way and within our organisations?
What's coming up there? Education is coming up again. Training is coming up. Sorry, education is coming up again. Training is coming up, but awareness is coming up quite in bold writing there. I don't know anyone who's put awareness in. What are you talking about when you say awareness? Would anybody like to maybe comment on that? Yeah, the back there in the yellow.
Hi, my name is Anna. I work in Exchange House Ireland, National Traveller Service. So I suppose what I meant by awareness was developing awareness within the community that I work with. So having a kind of community-led awareness, because I suppose when I attend events like this, I'm struck by, you know, is this information accessible to the people who need it? And I suppose until we see people driving the awareness campaigns themselves, the answer is probably no. So that's a little bit on what I meant by that.
Anybody like to make any comment about what's coming up there? Any surprises? Anybody put in a statement that you'd like to maybe articulate? Anne?
It's not a question or anything, it's really a comment, just going back to awareness and just tying it back this morning to, I think it was Susan's presentation when she asked, does Joe Soap out there know what it's all about? So that's the awareness that crosses my mind. We're all, you know, there's a level of education and awareness in this room. We know enough about it to come to these events. It's about making this more available at local level, at community level, which goes back to what Stephanie was saying this morning. It has to be a response from the community. So that's where I'd be looking, where the awareness needs to be raised, what the issue is, where to go, you know, and that it isn't accepted and part of life. It doesn't have to be.
I think something that's coming across to me just as I look at it, so the question was basically what actions can you or your organisation commit to? And I'm just thinking, if the people leaving this room this evening commit to all that's on the board or on the thing, wouldn't that make a real difference? Yeah. See that, yeah? Is everybody in? Is anything else? Okay. Yeah.
I think that's.
No?
Okay, so I think that's probably everything that we wanted to do at the moment. And I suppose really I would just, on I suppose behalf of the RiVeR project team, thank all of you most sincerely for attending today and more importantly for participating in today. As I said at the beginning, the RiVeR project is about building connections and we want to be doing events that make sense and that are meaningful. So Kathleen has reminded me, and I forgot to say it, that there is an evaluation form that has been emailed to all of you as delegates where we're asking some feedback on today's event, which is really important to us. But secondly, we're asking you, like we are planning more events this year. What do you think would be useful? What would be useful to your organisation? And I can't remember the lady in the mustard, if that is mustard, I think it is mustard, what you said about making our information accessible to the people who need to be in the room. How can we do that, kind of, is maybe, I'd be interested in the thinking around that. So I suppose really I would just like to finish on behalf of the RiVeR project team to thank all of you for being here today. We hope you found it a beneficial event. We certainly have learned a massive amount. Whenever we do events like this, we go away with loads and loads of ideas, and you know, that's how change will happen, I think. So I would like to thank, I suppose, a few people, which is always risky, and if I've left anybody out, it's nothing personal. We, the DkIT project, RiVeR project team, would like to thank most sincerely the steering committee of RiVeR and the members of the working groups, because it is you who are all from the disciplines, who know the disciplines so well, and the richness of the information that you all collectively give to us as a project informs what we're doing and makes sure, keeps us on the straight and narrow and makes sure we're doing things that make sense. I'd like to thank, I suppose, to do an event like today, which is a really big event actually to do. I think there's an awful lot of, the event I feel has run very, very smoothly, but it hasn't happened without a lot of work from a lot of people across the college, the DkIT support staff, the caretaking team, the cleaning team, the catering team. And I'd like to give a special mention to the IT team. We are the inaugural users of this podium today, and they have been amazing in terms of getting the setup ready for today's event and supporting us yesterday and on all of today. So thank you in particular to Tony and to Eugene, and also to Ronan, who is from the End Tutor project here in DkIT, who would have been instrumental in organising the setup here. So thank you for that. From the School of Health and Science, a very special thanks to the admin team in the school who have done a lot of work, but a notable thank to Fiona Quinn from the school office, who has been absolutely instrumental in doing every single bit of the arrangement and making today work so well. So I think she deserves a special round of applause. I'd like to thank the marketing and communications team here in DkIT, Siobhan, Sean and Linda, who's moved from Linda, and also then there's the two Siobhans actually. Well, there's the Siobhan who's in marketing and there's the Siobhan who was in marketing but is now in a different role, the two Siobhans, for your ongoing support of the RiVeR project. We'd like to thank Jerry Galler from Celt, who's assisted us in the VVOX today. And then here within the RiVeR project, we have our project management team, Breege, Jill, Anita, Geraldine and Moira. And Miles for part of the year. So thanks to all of them for, I suppose, steering the group. But the actual project team themselves, notably Mohammed there, who has been taking pictures and images and videoing the event. Lisa, who has put a lot of work into, I suppose, chairing sessions and, the event here today and the scoping out the programme, etc. And last but by no means least, she's going to absolutely kill me, but Kathleen, who is the absolute powerhouse. I have been warned, so I'm going to say it very briefly, but she is absolutely incredible, the work she's putting into RiVeR and the connection she's building between the sector. And, last but by no means least, I think, thank you to everybody here, and let's hope that we can effect a little bit of change. So thanks very much. Thank you.
And I suppose just finally, just to say thank you to Edel for chairing today's session, and for just being so supportive of the RiVeR project. And I suppose it's fair to say this wouldn't happen today without Edel, because if it wasn't for Edel, the original programme wouldn't have been here. That was developed in 2015. Edel was on the SIPSI, the Louth Children and Young People Services Committee, and the idea was born there that there was no accredited education programme in Ireland, and Edel came back to the School of Health and Science to see would somebody take on to develop this, and it was taken on by the military section, in particular Jill Atkinson developed the original curriculum, obviously with collaborators. And so Edel has been passionate about this area all along, so thanks to Edel as well.
Okay, so safe home everybody, I'm going to see you soon. Bye bye.